What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Amalgam Show. I'm one of your hosts, Keena Johnson, alongside Nathaniel.
Hello.
Dean Kaminsky.
Hello.
And Shannon.
Hey-oh, ignore the washing machine in the background.
I
just
can
realised
hear
that
it
you can't hear it?
sound
Okay,
test.
you're good.
You might have some better eardrums than I do.
Cool.
We are not doing a video recording of this because the studio is currently in flux.
Maybe we should just talk about that for an hour. The saga of Keena's house.
Not great at the moment. Shannon,
Yo.
ask someone what the Amalgam Show is about.
Wait, I have to ask someone? Okay. Hey, Nathaniel, what's the Amalgam Show about?
I don't know. Dean. What's the Amalgam Show about?
Keena, what's the Amalgam Show?
What is Amalgam?
What's
4
the Amalgam
hours
Show?
later.
It's where we get together and talk about pop culture and any shit we care about.
Oh, do we? Yeah, we do.
We do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
If you like what you're about to watch, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any questions for the show, please comment below or email us at amalgamshow@gmail.com. And make sure, you hit that what's that button called? The bell.
Hit the bell.
The
Notification.
bell
Notification
is
bell.
for notification.
And then check us out on social media at the Amalgam Show.
Check all your
everywhere
emails.
except for bigpond.com.au.
Yes.
So, what have we been up to this period of time?
Month. I think it's been a month since the last time.
Checks out. What have we been up to? Do we just want to get our way and start talking about Final Fantasy 14? Because that was the last thing on our agenda last time.
We
Was
did
the
all
last
start
thing.
playing Final Fantasy 14.
We did start doing that.
Yeah, it didn't last long for me.
Yeah, you're not a fan, I hear.
Oh, it's fine. I just,
It wasn't so much that you weren't a fan, from what you told me anyway.
Yeah.
It was more that you didn't have the time.
Yeah, because of the little amount of time that I've had, I played it for like that afternoon with everybody, and I got to like level 13 or something. I can't remember.
Probably.
And then I came back and everyone else was like caught up or higher level, and so I was like, maybe I should not, because it was going to be too much of a hassle for me to try to keep up and do duties and stuff. Because I did try again a little bit later, but Keena and Dean were the only ones on, and
Well, we can run you through the
And
duties
then,
now,
yeah.
which is majority of the waiting at the start.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of things about the game that are just a little. It's like Uncanny Valley. So you know how you can go to something and like you could be doing something and it will feel like what you're familiar with, but it's not quite right. Because I've played World of Warcraft my entire life,
And you started it up.
and now I've just gone from the latest WoW to Final Fantasy 14. It is very similar, but there's a couple of things that just aren't quite the same or don't work quite the same way. And I wouldn't say they're worse. I would just say my brain breaks.
It's different. It's
I
different.
can't really understand it, and it takes me a little while. It makes me a little bit vacant.
Look,
So-
I would say that it's generally about MMOs.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really enjoying playing it, but there are still moments where I'm looking at all the junk on my screen,
Yeah.
all the stuff that I've got to do, and I just zone out. I have no idea what's happening here. And I'm in the similar boat. Like, time is valuable, and it's hard to come up with all the time in the world to play it. So I am dipping in and out.
So
But it's alright.
That's the only thing I have a problem with. Like,
Yeah.
other than that, the story seems pretty solid. The
It's getting
gameplay
better.
is fine. I've enjoyed the multiplayer aspect, even though we didn't really do too much of it, because I finally got up to duties and we did like one duty.
Yeah.
But
Well, the idea behind us playing was that we would get to the to Stormblood, because we've got Aaron to play with as well.
yeah,
And then we were just going to make our way through that, and we were all going to be prepared for when Endwalker came out, which
Yeah.
was at the end of the year. So, I mean, you've still technically got time.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've technically still got time.
Still,
Like,
technically, I haven't finished this drink.
8 months between now and then. I think you'll be alright. And then when that rocks
I'll
around,
probably
that's
get
when the
back into it
multiplayer
now.
will come back into it.
I'll probably get back into it now because
Schedules change.
you know what? Let's just get into what I've been up to.
Absolutely.
We will talk more about 14.
Yeah, so we'll talk more about 14, but
As we go
because of 14, I went, you know what, fuck it, I will play Final Fantasy 15 And I've been trying to play. I've gone to play that like 3 or 4 times, and this time I actually played it and stuck with it and played through the whole fucking game and really liked it.
Completely different game to what you and me played, Keena.
Yeah, so
yeah,
I
it's
was
totally fucking different.
I was advised that the game has changed a lot from when it was released, which is when Shannon and Keena played it, to now. Like, an entire big boss battle changed.
What?
Yeah.
They changed, like, pretty much from chapter 10 onwards, they just rejigged it all to
Yeah.
to make sense, basically, because he's
So-
telling us stuff that I'm like, that was not in the base game.
Yeah.
When it came out day one, I told the story to Nathaniel. When that game came out, I took a week off work and I played it non-stop for 70 hours. So I had like 7 days straight, 10 hours a day. I was just playing that game, and I finished it, and I loved playing that game. But when I got to the end of it, I just went, the fuck did I just play? And it just, like, I remember saying out loud to no one else in the room with the final cutscene, I remember saying the words, oh, I'm supposed to be sad now.
Yeah.
Like, I got what they were going for,
Yeah.
but at no point did I make the emotional connection or get any resonance. So I was just looking at it going, oh, that's sad. And that was it.
That is empirically sad.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Objectively sad.
So that's the thing, is like, because I got to the end and I was like, this makes complete perfect sense. I love this. I'm so sad that this has happened. And then I went to Shannon and I'm like, I was sad, and he said, what?
What?
What are you talking about?
I
That
don't
wasn't
get it.
sad.
No,
Anyway,
again, it was sad.
yeah.
I just didn't care.
Yeah.
I was like, whatever.
so it was a bit strange because like one of the boss fights that they went through, they fought an ice goddess. When I played it, the ice goddess was already dead, and you just went through, and the reason why some of the same stuff happened is because her body was there and it was causing a blizzard, not because she was alive and fighting.
I don't understand why they changed that. That wasn't a problem.
And the other thing that was weird
Well,
is that
yeah.
the angel, what's her name? It starts with a G.
Garuda?
No, she's an angel, not a god.
I think
Gentissa. No.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. She is
The black-haired version
brunette.
of Winifred.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that bitch that rocks up for like 4 seconds, says like 2 lines, and then fucks off.
Every time. Yeah.
So-
Gentania.
Yeah.
Then something like that.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I remember her.
So I don't know how often she rocked up for you guys, but she was there for like quite a little bit.
She rocked
and she
up-
also like showed up in photos.
She rocked,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
she rocked up enough for me to go, I wonder what that is, but not enough for me to get an answer.
Yeah.
Because I remember getting to the end of that game.
What?
Weirdly enough, I remember getting to the end of that game and forgetting about that character and being like, who
I
cares?
googled her. It's Gentiana.
Yeah,
The
Gentiana.
first result that comes up is Shiva.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. In my game, she was Shiva.
Yeah,
What?
Yeah, so when I played
it's nothing.
it,
Not the first one.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's not.
yeah, so
No.
when I played the game, you get to where Shiva died. Her corpse is outside, and then the main bad guy, what's his name? Arden. You go outside with Ignis and Gladius because they are the only 2 people.
Yep,
there.
Prompto's fucked
Prompto's
off.
gone somewhere.
Thank God.
And then
Best
you.
part of that game.
I love Prompto.
Fucking hate
Anyway,
Prompto.
you go all the way, like you fight all these demons, and then you come back in on the train, and as you're like walking back to the train, Gladio and Ignis are like, knocked, come in here, something weird is happening. So you like rush towards the train, and as you rush towards the train, you see them get on, and you come around the corner to see Arden walk past as well. And you're like, no way. So you get on the train and you're just like following Arden, who's following Gladius and Ignis. And then you get to the final car and everything's just frozen. And Gladius and Ignis are on the floor, unconscious. And Arden's like, you didn't expect this, did you? And well, I can't remember exactly what the plot they were going for there was. But then the time kind of like stops a little bit.
Yeah.
I think he makes time stop, but then Gentiana shows up, and he looks at her and he goes, oh no, it's you, like goes to like say something to her, and then she freezes him, and then she turns into Shiva. And it's like, oh, you were Shiva the whole time. Even though at the start of the game they explain that she is an angel to communicate from the gods to the humans, just as
a messenger.
Yeah, so she was a messenger, just as how Luna Freya was a messenger from the people to the gods. So they were like the opposites. That's how it was supposed to be. But then, like halfway through the game, they're like, no, she's actually a god.
Look, man.
And then you never see her again because she is dead, but you have absorbed her power as the ice goddess. Yes. So they changed that much.
Look, man, yeah, none of that's in the base game.
I don't remember either of these.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't remember either of these outcomes. I need to play this game again.
Yeah. Well,
So-
that's the thing is that like if you play it again now, you're not going to get
Yeah.
the original experience. It's
No.
changed so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
That's what I mean. I don't remember that, but I can't remember what you're talking about either.
What do you mean? Of what?
Because you were talking about how Prompto left. I don't remember Prompto.
Oh,
leaving.
yeah, Prompto
each
did
of them
leave.
do.
Yeah,
Each
Prompto
of them
leaves.
leave for a
Because
section.
he falls off the train, and then you.
Because I remember
Oh,
when it first
so
came
leaving is
out, they
delicious.
were saying they were going to do 2 seasons of DLC for it. There was the plan for 2 seasons.
They've got the companions one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but during the game, there's a point where Ignis leaves, there's a point where Gladiolus leaves, and a point where Prompto leaves, and you're left with the other 2. All 3 of them leave for a certain amount of time.
What if we do? What if we do the companions DLC as Amalgam plays?
Okay. They're really well. Only one is good.
Isn't it meant to be we?
Maybe we can do that.
But
as the
isn't
DLC.
it like each person in the party is controlled?
Oh yeah,
by
there is a DLC where you can each
Like
person,
everyone's
yeah.
played as someone. So like I play as Prompto, you play as Ignis, you play as Noctis, and you play as Gladiator.
I think so.
pretty
I
sure.
think there is a.
Pretty sure there's
It's
something like
Comrade.
Yeah.
But, like,
Comrades.
You don't get. You play the. You play as a creator character.
Oh, that's cool enough.
It is, yeah.
But is it still in a party?
you can form to make a party and
Yeah.
grind the same.
We'll
music
look into
over.
it.
Cool.
But
That
like,
sounds good.
I remember thinking that and going, "Oh, this is where they'll put the 4 DLCs or whatever they do." But
Yeah.
like, they ended up breaking it up and weird. And like, I've watched a million like explainer videos on Final Fantasy 15. One thing I did want to ask last time you were talking to me about it was, do they explain or introduce anything about the star sickness?
What's the star sickness?
Cool. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Question answered. Yep. Done.
Yeah,
Star sickness. Star sickness is why that game happens.
yeah.
Oh.
It is the reason the events of Final Fantasy 15 take place in the world of Nova Crystallis.
Oh.
And they don't explain a goddamn bit of it.
Not in that game.
Yeah.
They do in Arden's DLC.
Oh,
And
do
that's
they?
like 2 years later. But yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, all that stuff starts to come in when they started to do season 2, but then Tabata left, and like, okay, we're gonna get this one.
I loved how they did that on a Twitch
They,
stream.
they didn't explain anything. The only things that they've explained was like basically
So the Scourge
yeah.
is the star.
Okay. So when they explained it, they explained it as like demons came to people. People fought the demons. Then people thought that they could fight the gods. Ifrit and Shiva were together, and when that happened, they split apart because Ifrit wanted to kill the humans and Shiva wanted to still protect them and change their mind. And Arden was a part of that, and he took on all
Again,
of
none
the...
of this is in
Yeah,
the
so he-
original.
So he was like... The weird thing about that, though, is like they explained that Arden was supposed to be what Noctis was.
Yeah.
That's in the base
Yeah.
game.
But what doesn't
Oh,
make sense...
come on.
Oh,
It's
barely.
barely
They
in
say
the
like 3
basic.
lines. on
What,
it.
Yeah.
what
come
doesn't
on.
make sense is that he's also not the main lineage.
He's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Arden is like the brother,
brother
of
of
the,
the king.
stepson.
So why
of the,
was he
yeah.
supposed to be the king of kings if he wasn't the king?
Because I think he tried to kill his brother.
Yeah.
I think that's the
So
thing.
what
that we...
ended up happening is in the Arden anime and
Yeah.
DLC, they essentially tell the same story. Is Arden was the older brother.
Mm.
He was the one who was going around helping people. He was absorbing everyone's scourge.
Yeah.
And then
That's
putting
what
it into
But
himself.
he explained it like he was absorbing the scourge, but what the scourge actually was demons. So he
Yeah.
absorbed all the demons.
All the demon
yes,
power.
Okay.
And then, so he was the older brother, and the crystal chose him. When he became too demonic,
Yeah.
he was being a solid person, like he was like helping the sick, who's being a good temporary ruler, and then he had too much demonic energy, and then the crystal's like,
Rejects him.
no, thank you, we'll choose your brother.
Yeah.
And the brother's like, well, the crystal said no, I'm gonna be a big dick and like get rid of you, and then it sends him to that Sharktooth Island or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh, the Angel Wing Island or whatever.
Yeah,
It's called.
Yeah.
locks him up there, and then the Imperial find him.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then 1,000 years passes or some shit.
Yeah.
Is that why when you wake up you're in that stone prison? Okay,
Uh-huh.
well they
Sort of
don't
history
actually
with you.
explain that and why you were there and okay.
This game is not finished.
And then,
Even-
like, honestly, a fair amount of why the game even starts also gets put in that fucking movie they made with
Yeah.
Sean Bean.
yeah.
I want to watch more stuff to do with it. I liked the story.
It's really, really good. I just wish they'd all put it in the fucking game because the game.
I'm not gonna lie. I was really expecting. I loved the anime fight at the end, but because he held so much demonic power, I was expecting him to turn into like this massive Final
Yeah.
Fantasy end boss. You know, like the classic Final Fantasy fucking ridiculous thing that you've got to fight.
I feel like we're gonna get that in 16.
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel like that thing's gonna have more of the Final Fantasy giant end ass boss, but.
They just be watching.
Yeah, the game is missing like it's missing its like opening and inciting action, and it's missing its like climax and falling resolution. Like it's missing like two crucial pieces.
Yeah.
Everything they do have is really fucking good, but there's some bits just at the beginning and at the very end they just needed to make it all work. And a fucking decent ass cutscene at the start of that game to tell me why the fuck these four shits are in the car.
Instead of what they actually gave you,
Yeah.
which was pushing the car for a while.
Yeah. These four
They could have at least
idiots.
they should have explained a little bit more.
And again, like the aesthetics of that game are incredible. I fucking love the road trip
Yeah.
aspect of it. I love
It is the boys' simulator.
there is something amazing about that game when you put it into auto drive mode and just watch it.
Yeah.
And just like how pretty the surrounding is
Yeah.
and like how cool it all looks. Especially now because there would be a bunch of like HD updates, I assuming. Does it not have a 4K mode?
So there's the 4K 30 mode, which is solid.
That would look good.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you, would you play it again if there was like a definitive PS5?
There is, isn't there? There's the Royal Edition or whatever it is.
So the Royal Edition, which comes with most of the DLC, I'm saying, would you like if they repackaged it and did like a 4K 60 on PS5, like, and then boost all those graphics, and then you get like the new Final Fantasy 15.
I don't know if I would. I don't
That's
know.
the thing. I put like 120 hours.
Yeah,
into
I put a
that game.
lot of time into that game. And it's weird too, because I've been talking with you recently how, like, I go back and play other Final Fantasies all the fucking time. I replay 10 and 8 at least once a year.
Yeah.
I'm replaying 8 right now. But there's something about 15 that I just don't want to go back to it. Maybe if I was told that it filled in the blanks properly,
Yeah.
and if they added in gameplay at the beginning of that game, because like 12 does that kind of opening very well, where the opening of 12 you're playing as a totally different character. You don't play as anyone that you actually play the game as, and the opening of 12 is a good it's 30 minutes, 40 minutes,
Yeah.
but it basically teaches you all the basics of the combat mechanics using a different character, and then your character, spoilers, it's the opening of the game, so who fucking cares? Your character gets fucking murdered.
Yeah.
And then there's kind of a big epic sort of end to that scene that creates a bit of conflict, and then it cuts to 2 years later.
Yeah.
And then you start the game as the younger brother of the character that died.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, this ties the beginning to the rest of it. They fumble the ball later on, but it's fine. But
Yeah.
like, it's got a really good way of like showing like, oh, you could do like
Yeah.
a really cool opening sequence with Noctis's dad.
Yeah.
Teach you the combat system, get him to do all that
I
stuff,
thought
get him to stand.
that's what they did
Yeah.
before I got to the end of the game, and I'm like, this is what I'm doing.
You can almost do I shudder to bring up this game, but you could do an Assassin's Creed 3 thing, where you start the game as one character and you end it as another.
Yeah.
Especially considering, like, one of the coolest parts of that game is towards the end and the way Noctis changes.
Yeah.
And the way they age him, he kind of looks like Regis by the end of it.
Yeah.
So why not start the game with Regis, play a few, an hour or two as him, then at the end of that tutorial section, you send your son out the door,
And that's the thing, you can
sacrifice
do,
yourself.
You can do the fun stuff with that sort of thing. You can have like the God mode stuff, where you just like the start of God of War 2, where you have all your powers.
They call it abilities.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Where you like super strong, and then when you die, you have to like go through all that with, and you get all like the cool arms and everything.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Fucking,
Yeah, give him
that's
everything.
in the movie.
Yeah.
But
you don't get to use it because you're Noctis.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some things that they could do, and if they were to do that, maybe I would give it a shot.
I don't think they're gonna touch
But they're not
that
going
one
to, no, because they're going to focus on 16 and 14, because those two, like 16, there is a lot of hype around,
Yeah.
and
And Forspoken.
And
which is what
Forspoken.
Keenan actually
Yeah.
moved on to.
and
that looks good.
14 is a fucking moneymaker.
Yeah.
It's fucking just raking it in.
Yeah. I want to also talk about the 14 aspect of 15. That was cool. So there was like that quest where there was 14 mechanics introduced to the game. They did 14 HUD. So you had the mini map, the quest, everything was brought up. Everything was the same as like 14. Duty accepted, duty started, like all that stuff happened in 15.
There's a part of me that wants to go back and play it just for that,
Yeah.
to see that.
And that actually, you can continue doing that stuff because after you do that quest, that becomes a training area, and you can do training stuff to get better equipment from like Final Fantasy 14 instead of 15.
Isn't 15
And,
on Game Pass right now? Or was it on Game Pass?
Yes.
I know it was on Game Pass at some point, and 15 Royal Edition is on the PlayStation Plus collection.
It is.
On PS5.
It is, you're right. I was just wondering about that. If a game comes off of Game Pass, do you still have access to it?
You have the save data, but you'll have to find another way to get it.
You have to purchase the game.
Yeah.
If you had it on Game Pass and downloaded it, and it's still downloaded to your console, would you still have access to it, or will it lock you out?
It locks you out.
Fuck that.
You'd have to buy it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I guess so, but also
It's good because most things don't come off Games Pass.
There have been a couple of things
and
that
when
have,
they
though.
come off Games Pass, you usually hear about
You
it.
usually get like a couple of months. I understand that.
And then
but
the other thing is like, yeah, I mean, like I'd much prefer to have the access to these games and not have to, because I mean, like, look at my over there, my Xbox 360 collection. When I did nothing but play games and go to school, that's what I ended up with. I just fucking 2 bookshelves worth of just fucking hard copy games.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
awesome, but that's not ideal. I would love. I love the idea of Games Pass.
Put a mortgage on your house, get a second house, build a garage, fill it full of games.
I want Games Pass. I want better games on Games Pass. I want multi-platform Games Pass, and I want better internet in Australia so that we can do these things
Yeah,
via
that's
xCloud instead of downloading it onto my fucking Xbox.
see, that's the hesitation I have because like I'm looking at it and like the Xbox Series X has become not enticing. Well, maybe a little bit, but it's not. I was gonna say it hasn't become ubiquitous yet. You can't walk into every store and grab one, but they are at a much higher clip available than the PS5. The PS5 is still haven't fulfilled all of the orders from last year from most companies. But the Xbox Series X, you'll occasionally see like, oh shit, you can buy one, and like it doesn't disappear. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact the Xbox is just not as popular right now. Still, even with the launch of the new consoles, it's still holding the baggage from the one. But the series, specifically the Series S, it is very available. You can pretty much get it anywhere, like right now. And I've been sitting there going, do I get the Series S because it's the cheaper one? Just have it as the Game Pass box.
Yeah.
But there's nothing exclusive yet. There's still no fucking exclusives. There's no reason to get the Xbox because if I want something, I can just... There's nothing I want on Game Pass that I either A, don't already have on PlayStation.
Yeah.
And already paid good money for the physical copy, so why would I want the digital one as well?
Yeah.
Or B, isn't coming to PlayStation, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. If you want to try Games Pass, you've got a PC. It's on PC.
Yeah, but
I would recommend even just signing up for that free.
See,
like a $1
here's the
pass
thing,
or whatever.
because I was talking to a mate at work about that as well. He's like, just get it on your PC. I'm like, yeah, but the reason I would buy Game Pass, me specifically, is to play the old Xbox and Xbox 360 games that are backwards compatible through Game Pass.
Yeah.
That are not available on the PC version of Game Pass. Because if the PC version of Game Pass is available, the stuff that's on the PC version of Game Pass, I probably own on Steam already.
Yeah.
So like it's once again trying to weigh up the fact of like, is it worth having a monthly subscription for games I already fucking own? You know.
Yeah.
For me, like, the only stuff Game Passes were, like, I have thought about, like, the Series S being, like, a Game Pass machine. Like, well, if I'm gonna get an Xbox, I want them to run as good as they can, because I've got, like, a really good setup now. And then I want, like... And then, like, the Game Pass is pretty much the 2 Ori games. I bought the Final Fantasy 13 on Xbox 360 so that it looks prettier than the PS3 version, in a roundabout way. But then... Like, yeah, I don't need to play the Final Fantasy games on PC, like, Xbox, because I still need the trophies on the PlayStation version, and...
It's really weird, because, like, the thing that you want the Xbox to have is good exclusives, and they bought up all those developers, like, a year or two ago, so it means we're probably not going to see the fruits of those for another year or two.
Yeah.
It'll be when Hellblade 2 comes out for me that I'm, like, really starting to consider.
I'm even thinking Halo Infinite.
Yeah,
like, because
that's what most people will be thinking.
like,
Fable.
or whatever Bethesda comes up with next as well, you know, could possibly be a Microsoft exclusive, so...
Doom 3.
Obsidian's weird Skyrim, but not Skyrim.
Oh, yeah.
They have that in the works as well.
What's that?
So, you know, Obsidian is the developer that did Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah, yeah.
And they did it sort of with Bethesda and all that kind of stuff.
Did
And
they also have something to do with...
The new game out.
Or Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds, yeah.
Outer Wilds.
Worlds.
Worlds?
There's two. There is Outer Wilds as well.
And there's, yeah, I know, because they fucking didn't collab or fucking talk to each other about their naming convention.
One was an indie team.
One was an
Technically,
indie
so was the other one.
Yeah. So Obsidian did
Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds, and they did Fallout New Vegas. And Outer Worlds, if you've played it, is basically Fallout but in space.
Yeah, I loved it.
It's really, really good.
Fun.
Last E3 or the E3 before, they announced their new project that they're working on that should be coming out either this year or next. And it's Skyrim, but not Skyrim. Because they're a team that used to work on Fallout and those things
The original.
for Bethesda. So they were bought by Microsoft, and they're like, oh well, we can make a Skyrim. And you look, it's identical, man. Like, it's got the same sort of like first person hands in front of you, casting magic, hitting with swords. But it's a open world fantasy RPG, just made by the Obsidian guys. So like that's coming out soon. That will probably be exclusive on there, and it'll be good. It'll be like Outer Worlds, the Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
It'll be like that one where it's like not.
Oh, yeah.
It's not fucking, oh my god, blowing my mind, breaking the mold type open world, but it's a good one. Good writing, fun story.
Yeah.
It'll be good. It'll be a Game Pass game. It'll be a game that I'm happy to spend $15 a month on as opposed to $60 in the store.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like kind of where I'm at with PlayStation 5. I keep looking at all these games like Ratchet coming up and Returnal, and it's like they're $125.
Returnal,
Is $125.
yeah, not going to.
Like, I
Ratchet,
really want to play that game.
Look, at the end of the day, y'all don't want to pay full price match.
Well, yeah.
Because like there are companies in Australia that just straight up don't do that because they can afford to.
Yeah. But that's the thing, it might only come down like $10, $20, which will still be $100.
Not from what I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to pay more attention to the market now.
Yeah. Take a look at what's going on because there's a lot of stuff. But either way, like I think Ratchet's going to be worth the price tag anyway.
Yeah.
Because I think Ratchet and Clank, Insomniac, they've probably been given the full breadth of the PS5 to work with for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
They're going to make that controller sing. They're going to make those graphics look amazing. That game's going to probably just hit the mark on every single thing. So, like, I'm looking forward to that game. But, you know, just like any other generation, I'm probably not going to actually buy a bunch of PS5 games until probably next year or the year after, when other developers have had a time to get a crack at it.
Oh, you have to think, the games I've been playing on my PlayStation 5 have been PS3 games, between Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and then Final Fantasy 14. Like, I have played some PS5 games, but I burned through them. Like, cool.
Yeah.
Back 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skyrim 8.
Yeah, I got EA access to try and play Mass Effect Andromeda for a bit. You know, I'm playing old games that I didn't get a chance to last generation because right now there is nothing coming out that I want to play. So it's a good time to catch up on stuff before a bunch of shit comes out that I want to play.
You don't want to play Outriders?
Really don't want to fucking play Outriders.
I agree with all of that.
Anything else you've been up to?
Yeah, I just started Final Fantasy VII Remake.
You got him, boy.
We got him. We got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
So that's what I said to Keena. I'm like, oh fuck.
No, I could hear. Like, I thought he would be upstairs playing 15. Or no, that's not.
I started playing Astrobot because I had like a bunch of
that's
all that
it.
stuff.
Nice.
And I saw him like I was trying to fix out my PlayStation, and I'm just like, well, see who. I always check my friend was. And I was like, oh, I play an Xbox. Oh, cool. That's like rescue mission. Like, ooh, that's a good game. And then I came up, and then I heard the like remake music, and I'm like, ooh.
And I had just started it.
Like, yeah.
It's good. It plays better than 15.
It does play better than 15, but for me, the type of games that I play, the game goes against every fiber of my instincts because it's so linear and you can't go to different places. Whereas I play games, it's like you can go down this corridor if you want. There's nothing there, but you can go down this corridor. But I'm looking at it, I'm like, I can't jump. I can't hit this thing. I can see that there's a thing down there, but I can't get it.
Final Fantasy VII Remake is a cutscene that you occasionally play.
Yeah. I enjoyed it
And the
so far.
playing is fun.
It is. It
Like,
is.
really fun.
I genuinely think it's just them testing what they can do because the second part of that remake will probably be an open world game. You're going to get what you want, but in order to even understand 1% of what's going to happen in that fucking shit show, you're going to have to play
What do you
this
mean
one.
second part of that remake?
So this isn't the whole game.
This is like part 1 of possibly 2 or 3 parts.
Jesus Christ.
And it's like a 60-hour game. What, 50, 60 hours?
I want to say 50.
50?
In one playthrough.
Yeah.
Is that like 80?
Oh my god.
I don't know.
Dean, you want to get on this Final Fantasy bullshit? You want to just stick with
When I saw
14?
you playing the 7 remake, I was like, ooh.
Yeah. It's on Games Pass.
That's all that. Oh,
No, it's not. It's only
What did I
PS.
see on Games
Yeah.
Pass? Maybe it's 15.
15 is.
Yeah.
It's a PS Plus game at the moment. The
Yeah.
thing with that, if you redeem it, you cannot upgrade to the PS5 version for free. But
Idiot.
Yeah, fucking dickhead.
see, that's why I usually redeem every game no matter what.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't you have the
even-
physical version of 7?
That's the thing. I have the physical version, but if I redeem it, that'll do some fucky stuff. So I'm just like, I just leave it.
Yeah.
I own it physically.
Yeah.
So when it comes out on
just
PS5,
throw
I
the
just
disc
shove
in.
the disc in. It'll say, "Do you want to get integrated?" I'm like, "Yes,
Yes,
I do,"
please.
and then I have to pay for the UFD DLC anyway. So
But yeah, I'm keen to play more of that.
fucking
I'm now that I understand how a Final Fantasy game is broken down, I think I'm getting an easier understanding on how other games are broken down. So now, and because I have a little bit of backstory to 7 anyway, because I used to watch the fucking movie
Yeah.
all the time. We had it on, Damien had it on PSP.
Oh, yeah.
The
The
UMD.
UMD that fucking...
So-
oh,
only
God.
version of that movie I need.
I would watch that every time we went away somewhere. I would be
Yeah.
listening to music, and then I'd take that UMD from Damien's PSP case, I'd put it in mine, and I would watch it. I think I've watched that movie probably like 50 or 60 times.
No,
like,
what
a
you want
lot.
is the collector's edition DVD that I have. Comes with like a little case, has some postcards, some concept art.
No.
It's like a video game collector's
Yeah,
edition, but for a
fucking
DVD.
Yeah, so
Did you get the complete?
Yeah.
Like, oh, so that's the Blu-ray version.
No, it's the DVD version
Yeah.
because Blu-rays weren't a thing back then.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because did you end up buying?
you know
complete,
what was a thing back then?
like the Blu-ray version?
UMD.
No, I haven't yet.
Have you seen the complete?
Yes.
Oh, good.
But yeah, I think I'm probably falling down the rabbit hole of Final Fantasy
Look,
games. And I wouldn't be surprised
We'll
if
give
I
him 10 next.
I'm always trying to get people to like to play Final Fantasy games, but I will say this: there is definitely a distinct line between modern Final Fantasies and older Final Fantasies. And what you're getting from these modern games, you will not get from the
But
old
the thing
ones.
is that what I love getting from a game is the story. So as long as the story is there, I will stay in tune.
You are always going to get
My-
story from Final
yeah.
Fantasy games.
My
You'll get
problem-
nothing but that for
my
most of the
problem
time.
From 4 onwards, that's all you get.
Yeah.
My problem before this was I didn't understand their way of storytelling, so I lost interest.
It's anime.
Yeah. Well, it's a
It's-
little bit different.
It's the confusing
It's-
anime that
yeah.
I love, like
Yeah.
like
There's-
Death Note, Evangelion,
They
like
tell you the
convoluted
stories
Kingdom
in
Hearts.
sections, and they don't put the sections. They put the sections in places, but not really in the right places. But then you will come to an event, and then it will all line up, which
Yeah.
is good storytelling.
Yeah.
But
You just have to be paying attention.
you have to be paying attention for one, which is hard for me to do. Especially, like, it was easy for me in Final Fantasy 15 because there was verbal cinematics.
Yeah.
Whereas in Final Fantasy 14, I kept on getting pissed off because I had to read so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't read a lot.
Most of that
I
stuff
just,
is filler.
yeah, I just button mash my way through that.
Yeah, so you have to be paying attention, but you also have to have patience because, yeah, like I said, my problem last time was I would only get so far through the game and I'd be like, this is fucking boring. Like, I don't know anything about these characters. What the fuck is this magic system? I don't get it. I don't and I remember playing and Dean was like, oh, you got shit for finesse. I'm like, I don't understand. I'm fucking darting around everywhere. He's like, oh, you've got to like dodge and jump dodge and fucking do all this shit. I'm like, they didn't even tell me how to do that.
See, that's the thing though, is that, like, you're not even like even the battle systems as you go back through the games. Like 12 is an MMO. Yeah, like you're just measuring cooldowns and waiting for your attack to happen. And 10 is...
Which I'm guessing I'll never be able to play 12. Is it
you have
still
a PS4?
Online? Is it still online?
No, 12 it's an MMO.
Sorry.
It's an MMO. It's a single player MMO.
It's a single player game, but the controls are all MMO.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's basically an MMO. You just set up everything and then just press the buttons in time, and you don't actually do anything.
Okay.
10 is a fucking Pokemon game. It's a turn-based battle system.
I do remember...
Their turn, my turn.
I remember
Their turn,
Damien playing 10 when I was younger. He played it on... Like the original on PS2?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that the one with Sin?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
the one.
10.
Good that you remember the villains.
I only remember the villain's name because I remember seeing it and I was like, Damien, what is that? And he was like, that's my dad. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's a giant whale. Space whale. I was like, yeah, he's also the main villain.
Yeah, well, he's...
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
The 10 is the closest they've ever gotten to doing a traditional Western style story with like a beginning, middle, and end. Like, no, honestly, from start to finish, that game is linear. Okay. You just go through it and you start the game at one point and you end the game at another point. There's not a lot of like dropping pieces here and there. The only difference, the only big thing is that there is a giant info dump towards the end that recontextualizes the entire game. But for the most part, like, if that info drop doesn't happen, you start that game and you just play it, and it's a coherent story. It makes sense all the way through. It's just that, when you get to the like last 2-3 hours of the game, suddenly there's all this information and you're like, oh shit, and all of it changes. Fuck. It's cool. It's a cool thing, but 10 is a tough one because
that was a remake for 10?
Yeah,
the
remaster.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I got the disc if you ever need it. Just pop it on in, update it, it's all done.
Alright, I will need it because I'm getting into this rabbit hole.
I would suggest playing 10 first before playing 12.
Or anything else,
So I'll finish 7. And then 10.
Yeah.
And then 12.
10's a much more tactical.
What happened to 11?
11's an MMO.
It's a PS2.
It's an actual MMO.
Okay.
You can get it on Steam, but it's like,
I think like its servers are still running, but you have to crack a thing on a P. Like, it's weird.
No, you can just download it on Steam and then like
just
run it like it's still a normal game.
Yeah.
Like they added.
It was their first shot at an MMO. It's like okay.
And it's a pre-WoW MMO, so it's all like
nothing will make
like
sense.
EverQuest, like.
Because if you're like, oh, Final Fantasy 14 is like WoW but slightly not right, you'll jump into 11 and be like, nothing is right. All of it is wrong because no one had figured out how to do an MMO properly yet.
RuneScape did.
RuneScape was post WoW, I think. So.
What?
No. RuneScape's pre-WoW.
Has to be pre-WoW.
Double check.
I played RuneScape on a dial-up modem. It's pre-WoW.
Yeah, it would have to be pre-WoW. I mean, like, WoW was 2004. It was out during dial-up too, but. Yes.
Yeah, but WoW, I remember seeing the box for WoW in the store, and it said, like, best played on a broadband connection. So it was just as broadband became a thing. RuneScape's been around since...
2001, on my birthday.
Yeah.
2001. Really? I would have thought it was, like, the 90s.
Well, to be fair, that says RuneScape 3, so I don't know what this is.
The original RuneScape is like a mud, isn't it?
I don't know. Mud's one of those, like... things that I don't know. Oh, this is an actual classic.
It's showing my age.
I don't even know what mud is.
It's a multi-user dungeon.
Oh.
It's like the precursor to MMO.
It's an MMO, but it's text-based.
Okay.
Because there was no way to graphically show on a dial-up modem what you were doing, so you would just type command prompts like / move forward 30 paces.
Yeah, so the original version of RuneScape is a mod.
Yeah. So that's you would just type into it and it would just spit things back out to you, and then you would.
I played some text adventure stuff. That was fun.
Yeah, it's cool. It's kind of like the best way I could describe it is that it was like playing D&D on a computer.
Yeah.
Like you had to do everything in your brain, and the dungeon master was just this AI routine that was written by some other dude in some basement in Germany or some shit.
The game has over 200 million accounts created and is recognized by the Guinness World Records as the world's largest and most updated free MMORPG.
Mm-hmm.
It's old as fuck and popular as fuck.
How long do you think until Fortnite takes that spot?
Well, it's not an MMO.
Isn't
Or
it?
an RPG.
No.
Isn't it?
No.
What makes
Battle Royale.
what makes an MMO an MMO?
It's massive multiplayer online.
This is a battle royale.
Fortnite is a massive multiplayer game played online,
No, it's a battle royale.
but it's a massive game,
If
100
you can,
players.
If you can stationarily sit at a home set spawn point in Fortnite, I will call it an MMO. If you have to be dropped into a battlefield and slowly have that close on you, that is a battle royale.
Yeah. The other thing
I
is...
don't.
Just because there's 100 people, like, yes, that's a massive amount of people, but that's also not considered an MMO, because an MMO is a matter of character development.
No,
and-
that's what I'm asking.
and
What
having
is the
your-
defining feature of an MMO? that makes
Defining
it
features is development on your character, whether it be levels,
So a
whether
static,
it be
so a leveling character.
stats, cooldowns, fucking.
Just saying, you get
all
a
that
battle
stuff.
pass and you level up.
But it's not, because a battle pass is based on unlockables. It's not based on skills.
You not unlock skills.
Do you not
Okay.
unlock skills?
No, you don't.
Based on the criteria
You can
above,
pick up a
Pokemon
golden
Go
scar.
Is an MMO
Pokemon
with
Go is an
casual
MMO.
genre. So does Fortnite and PUBG.
Bullshit.
Both is MMO with FPS genre. So
Yes.
they're MMOs just with different genres.
Destiny.
Bullshit.
Now
Destiny's
in
an MMO.
control of its.
I'm
MMORPG.
disgusted.
Okay, like if you want to put the
Let's
RPG
go with
element on it,
MMORPG.
but it just said MMO, right?
That's an MMO.
RPG. Okay, fine. But I think it won't be long until Fortnite is considered the world's largest MMO.
You know, like, yeah.
I'm hoping it dies before that point.
It won't.
Every week or two for the last 6 months, the hashtag Rip Fortnite has trended on Twitter. And because there seems to be this weird thing happening in the world where there is this large amount of people who actively want to see Fortnite die, versus this large amount of people who are like, I don't give a shit about Fortnite anymore. And so, yeah, it's really weird. Every now and then I'll log on to Twitter and just see Rip Fortnite. And I'm like, did it actually die? No, it's just a bunch of people saying it's dead, even though it's got a player base of 1 billion.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
But it is funny because a lot of the professional Fortnite players are basically saying it's boring and we don't want to play it anymore. But the only reason they play it is because they get Twitch views.
Money.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Laser beam.
What?
He's
Where are we
the
all
Australian
up to in
tradie.
Final Fantasy 14.
I'm up to the patch quests of Heaven's Ward.
Oh shit.
Did you finish Heaven's Ward?
Well, I'm on the patch quests of Heaven's Ward, so technically no.
So yes, you rolled credits on Heaven's Ward.
Yeah, but
I'm
I've also not started Stormblood, so
I'm still in the patch quests for Realm Reborn.
I think you're up to 5.5.
I
so
think
you're right
so.
there.
I don't know. Honestly, one of the problems I have with that game is how much filler is in between. I don't see. Yeah. Basically, whenever I go through a bunch of stuff and it sends me to another place that isn't Ishgard because that's where I need to get my shit. I'm like, fuck this. I'm done. Fuck you.
level 58 quests. That's what you need.
I'm doing level 50 quests. Nothing but level 50 quests.
Yeah,
I've
that's
been
what I'm
doing
saying.
them for
When it-
4 days.
But when it tells you level 58, oh yeah, it's because you're still in the patch quests.
Yeah.
You won't get to fucking Ishgard for ages. Or
know.
is it Ishgard or no, it'll Shire. You'll get to Ishgard because that's the first place you go to. It'll Shire is the second place.
But I need to get to Ishgard. Ishgard is
Is
where
Ishgard where you get the
is
Astrologian?
where I can pick the Astrologian.
Okay.
That's all I need.
Then, yeah,
Once
get-
I'm there, then I can go back and start
Then
doing
get through the
level
fucking patch quest, man. Come
It's
on.
I get so fucking bored. I get so sick and tired.
Oh,
Fuck.
dead set. Skip through it.
I am. I'm blasting
Yeah.
through it. I'm still and I'm like, okay, cool.
Because
I've got to go to another place and talk to another fucking tiny
Yeah.
person.
So what will happen is the patch quest for the main scenario is you're just going to be sent fucking point A to point B to point C to point, like, it just
I'm
keeps
getting
going.
experience for teleporting places.
Yeah, but it's not much experience. It's like fucking 1,000 experience.
Yeah, I know,
You
but
require
still.
like over 1 million to level up.
I know.
But the point is, you keep skipping through it, and then right at the end, they will have cutscenes, and it will tie everything together, and you'll kind of pick up what's happening based on the cutscenes.
Oh yeah, no, I've already done that. It's just that
No, but you have.
there's a lot.
If you've done those cutscenes, then you would be up to Heaven's Ward.
No.
Cutscene.
No. Sorry, I'm being bad at explaining it. What I'm saying is, I have done a lot of the patch quests so far, and I feel like I've done too many of them.
Yeah,
and I'm
that's 'cause
tired of doing
there are
them.
too many. I looked at the Heaven's Ward patch quest. I was like, oh, well, they had a fuck ton for the main scenario, so Heaven's Ward will have like 6. I look at it, there's just as many.
There's
Yeah.
something that does confuse me about Final Fantasy XIV. Do you have to do everything in order, or can you just drop in the game and go, I'm going to do this expansion?
If you pay for it.
Yeah, you have to pay for the character token. So if you want to start at level 70, it'll give you the level 70
So
gear
everything
with
is
that.
linear, unless you pay for it.
Correct. Yeah.
That's another thing that's like uncanny valley to me, because it's like there are expansions and everybody loves these expansions and like there's these stories, but you have to do it in order to the
Yeah,
story.
I mean-
whereas in WoW, one expansion will get you to the max level, and it's mostly about the PvP after that.
Yeah.
Before, like, it takes. In WoW, you can do Classic, or you can do Burning Crusade, or you can do Wrath of the Lich King, or you can do.
Mr. Pandora.
No, the next one is Cataclysm, Mr. Pandora.
Yeah.
You keep going on like that.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm just flashing
But-
back to Jackbox last night.
oh yeah, Jackbox last night we got asked a World of Warcraft question in Murder Trivia Party.
Right.
Trivia Murder Party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dean and I looked at each other and were like, finally!
Every other one, it was
Time has
like,
come.
what country found this in the 1400s? And then it's like, what ones of these aren't
Yeah.
classes in World of Warcraft? And we were like, these ones!
Yeah,
and we were,
yeah.
oh, it was so good.
I managed to guess them based on the name.
Yeah.
Points.
Whatever.
I loved it.
No,
it was
good.
awesome.
It was good.
Nice.
But yeah,
I think that's the thing,
yeah.
that you'll start to figure out from playing the other Final Fantasies is that they are so focused on story.
I like the fact that 14 is like that, but the fact that I'm trying to play it as something that it's not, that's where I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have no problem with the game. It's good. What they've done is good. But I'm coming in here being like, this
trying
is
to
what I'm
play
going
WoW.
to do. And then they're like, no, you can't do that.
I can totally-
And I'm like, just listen to Aaron. And then...
Yeah, it is a bit frustrating because I totally get it because like you want to what it essentially is you want to get to Return of the King.
Yeah.
You want to see the big battles, but you gotta get through the other two first. Otherwise, you're gonna be dropped in and going, "What the fuck is happening here?"
If you haven't been warned already, you will lose your flying mount when you start Heaven's Ward.
Oh, because that didn't have
In the new
flying
area.
mounts.
No, it did. It's just you have to unlock it in certain areas.
Oh, yeah.
What?
They do that in WoW as
So the
well.
way that they do it, there's these things called ether currents, and you need to get all the ether currents in that area to allow your mount to fly. Basically, it allows you to have a better understanding of how the winds work in that specific area.
You know how you have to unlock
Okay.
mounts to begin with?
Yeah,
It's basically doing that.
So you still got a mount, and you will get mount speed increases as you
But
go
in the
through
new
the story.
areas, I have to do these things.
You
before
need to
I can
find
use
these collectibles and do certain quests, and it's like you get like, I think it's like for different areas there might be like 8 that you can find and then like 4 that you need to do quests for, and once you have all 12 you can then fly with your mount. It's a pain in the ass. I don't know if they do that for Stormblood as well.
I think they do.
I'm sure they will take it from you, but whether they introduce ether currents
Yeah,
again or
I'm
not,
guessing
I'm
it's
not
so
sure.
that you are forced to actually explore their world and figure
Yeah.
out how to
Because
get around.
that-
it.
It makes it easy because it gives you a compass. So if you use a compass,
Yeah.
it'll be like the closest ether current is 300 clicks this way.
Right.
Do
And
they make
go
you do that
direction.
for new characters, or when you start a new character, can you?
Well, that's the thing. So with new characters,
Imagine so, yes.
because you can change your class with your current character. So I've got a level, I think it's like 13 gladiator.
Yeah.
He is my character. He's just changed his equipment. So I still have a flying mount in the main areas, but I didn't get my flying mount until like level 40
Yeah.
on my other class because that's just what it was.
Yeah.
So if I was to create a brand new character, I'd probably need to find them again. But there's no point in making a new character unless you want to change your race
Yeah.
entirely, in
Or
which case you could
server.
just buy a fucking file of Fantasia and just change
Yeah,
it.
there's no reason to start a new character
I
unless you
think
want to
that's
change
the thing.
servers.
Unless you want, like, I want my tanks to look really buffy, and then I want my
Out of curiosity as well, was there a reason why we chose Louis Soir as the?
because that's what
Aaron
Aaron was
does
already
It
on.
was also double XP at the time.
Yeah,
I think probably most
but I
of
think
them.
that's the case for most of them anyway. But
I was
yeah,
just wondering because like I
Aaron
was
was
looking
already
into it
on
and I was like, are we on the Japanese server? Because they suggest that in Australia we play on Japanese servers.
okay.
That's the suggestion because
Yeah, we're close.
we're closer in time zone.
I wonder if there's a way that we can transfer our characters.
I
Whether
don't
we
think
pay
there
for it or
is.
not, I don't know. But
Yeah.
Because I know, Louis Suarez is a European.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem that we have is that like when we're trying to party up, they're asleep. So most of the people on the server are asleep.
yeah, because that's the thing. In the mornings, like, I had a day off and I started queuing and I was like, wow, I'm getting into raids so fucking quickly. But
Yeah.
then, like, I'm waiting for over an hour for some bullshit at
Yeah.
like 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, they suggest that here in Australia we select whatever servers are in Japan because the time difference is only a couple of hours.
And technically, you can just bounce over to that. Like, you just go to the Ethernet crystals,
Yeah.
choose a different server, wait a sec, and then you're in there.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't have your like permanent home there.
Yeah.
There's a couple of permanent stuff.
Yeah,
You
no,
know
I was
you
just
do the game.
wondering because like,
Yeah.
it's fine. Like I'm not. The whole point is that when enough of us are up at the right levels, when we play the new expansion, it won't be a problem because we'll just party up us.
Well,
five.
that's the thing, because I've been talking to Aaron about that as well. This is not going to be good content, but anyway, I've been talking to Aaron about that as well. We have a few people that are looking to join as well.
Sweet.
So because they're all kind of like on the fence. Like some want to get like a PlayStation, others want to get it on like a PC. Because the thing is, if you pay for a subscription on PlayStation, but then you try to switch to PC, apparently you have to pay for a subscription there as well.
Yes.
I think the subscription holds, but you have to buy the game again.
Yes, it's some bullshit like that. So yeah, one of them's like, oh, I have a PlayStation, but like I'm looking to get a PC. So once I get the PC, I'll just get it on that.
Okay.
So there are some people that are looking to then join our free company, and we're really close to having our own free company hideout essentially.
Sweet.
So that'll be coming at some point. Aaron's
Cool.
gonna fund that, which will be cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, by the time Endwalker comes out, we will hopefully have a full raiding party of. I doubt it'll be the full raid party of like 24.
You need the alliance sorted out.
But yeah,
Yeah.
like your 2 healers, your 2 tanks, and your 4 DPS, we'll have that sorted easy.
So just going around, what are our main classes?
Well, my main class is a red mage.
What level are you?
I am level 68.
What did you start as?
I can't remember. Gladiator.
What was you were a gladiator? Yeah, I'm specking into gladiator at the moment.
I'm a level 60 Dragoon.
60 flat.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've capped at where I'm at.
Right, because you haven't got the. Yep,
Yeah,
cool.
I-
Yep.
And then
I'm currently playing a level 59 Scholar.
But you're changing
But
to
I'm changing
Astrologian.
Astrologian as soon as we've got it.
Yeah. Because that was the thing. Aaron is getting very bored. So he's just maxing out all the classes. And he's like, okay, I've got a tank, I've got a DPS, I've got a range DPS, I've got a range physical DPS. He was like, I need a healer. And he looked into it and he was like, okay, best healer, Astrologian. So he's already got a level 60 Astrologian. Not to say he will take that
Yeah,
role.
no.
But he's just like, he's going through and maxing everything out to level 70.
I think
and he's like,
we're also looking at like Endwalker and be like, well, I think my healing class is going to be Sage.
yeah, we're all like, oh wow, Sage looks really fun. Huh?
So is that the new class setting in?
So
is
yeah,
there a couple
there's 2 more coming. There's Sage, which will split the healing classes into barrier healing and something else. I think it's basically just basic healing. I don't know how that's going to split
Yeah,
out,
well,
but
it's-
Sage is going to be a barrier healer.
Yeah,
I believe Astrologian is going in the barrier healing class as well, from what I've read.
Okay.
interesting.
And then there's the new melee DPS. Well, I think he just said, well, they've said only DPS. And it's like, cool, we've got enough of those.
Did they say what it was?
No. They had an event over the weekend. They might have announced what it was there, but I don't think they did.
From my understanding of the stuff that I've read up on Astrologian is that it's going to become one of the barrier healing because the whole point is like part of the Astrologian ability is that you get to you're casting buffs and debuffs. That's mostly what you're doing. Not necessarily debuffs, but like it's just buffs and buffs.
Yeah.
So buffing the party for damage and then buffing the party in terms of like taking damage. I
Yeah.
think.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
So I looked up new DPS class Endwalker, and it said the new DPS class will share armor with Dragoon.
Ah.
What?
That's what it says on Reddit, anyway.
Yeah, that might be leaks. I don't think they've confirmed anything.
Well, that seemed to be 55 days ago.
That's still cool.
Yeah, they
56
haven't
days
confirmed
ago.
it. Yeah, so that's a leak.
A rumor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I follow a lot of news channels that over the last couple of years have been very adamant about differentiating the difference between a leak and a rumor. A rumor is something that someone has just said and there is no backing evidence. A leak is something that we have confirmed has come from the direct primary source and has accidentally gotten out into the public.
I'm really upset because
Accidentally.
at the moment I'm currently having to queue for a lot of duties. So for those of you who don't know what Final Fantasy XIV is like, or context rather,
This is coming late.
So yeah, it's so we spoke.
I mean,
about
for the
it
most
last,
part, if you listen to the last podcast, you
yeah,
get that.
we had last podcast where I was starting to get into it, and a few of us actually got into it since then, and have leveled up quite a bit. So within this game, it's an MMO for Final Fantasy, and there are, as per normal MMOs, if you're familiar with the MMORPG, you'll be familiar with instances or similar uses of it. They are called duties within this game. So when you need to continue the story, you will need to do said instances or duties. With that being said, you need to queue for it, which can take some time. So for my particular point where I'm at, a lot of duties are coming up from time to time, and the queue times can be quite a while. So what I've done is, and that's why I've spec'd into Gladiator, between waiting for duties to commence, I switch into my Gladiator class and start doing that, because I looked at the best classes to do. The first thing I looked at was the most fun class to play. I was like, I'm really interested in that. Google it, look it up, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh yeah, these are some cool classes, but the number one best class we recommend to play to have the most fun is Red Mage. And I was like, well, I'm already fucking doing that. It's like, I'm already there.
Yeah.
So then I was like, all right, well, we probably need more tanks, because you're going into healing, you're a Dragoon, you do DPS, and then Aaron's also DPS as well. I was like, we really need a tank. And I was looking at best tanks, and a lot of people were like, look, Dark Knights are really fun to play, but the best tank, although it's fucking boring, is Paladin. And I know you're looking into, this is Keena, is looking into Dark Knight rather, and Aaron also spec'd into it as well. So I was like, fuck it, I'll take Paladin. But in order to be a Paladin, I need to spec into Gladiator to get to level 30, and then from level 30 I can spec into Gladiator. Paladin.
Yeah.
Which is taking time, because I don't have the story quests to boost me. But it's okay.
Yeah, that's the pain in the ass part, because I'm not looking forward to going to Astrologian and going right back to 30.
If you're having problems at the moment sticking with it, I feel like once you get Astrologian, it's going to be even harder.
It is, but here's the thing: is I am not doing any leveling duties right now.
And that was the other thing, because I'm yet to look into it. Because I'm only level 13 Gladiator at the moment, so I haven't queued for any leveling duties, because I don't know if I'm able to. But I'm hoping at level 30 that's the case, and then whether we, I don't know, party up with you and join in.
Yeah.
If we can do that, fuck.
Because most of the leveling duties I've done have level blocked you back to 16.
Yeah.
That seems to be the average level they tell you to do it at. And so, when you get the Astrologian class, it's level 30. So I can immediately do those leveling duties and just power level through a couple of days by doing those leveling duties rather than having to go through. Plus, you still get the level bonus up till 70.
Yes, correct.
And the class missions do offer a fair chunk of experience as well.
Exactly.
So there is a way to boost through it, but if you're doing 1 to 30,
Eat food.
yes,
Meals give you it's
like
a
a
small
1.25 or something like that.
It's like plus 5%.
Yeah, something like that.
But it's enough. Because that's the thing. I'm doing the Gladiator story quest, but then it's like, okay, you've just done the level 12 one. Good job. You're now level 13. The next one's level 15.
Yes, you need to get 2 more levels, and
Fucker.
there's a bunch of other quests around though. Like there's a lot
But that's
to do.
the thing. I'm slowly running out of those. Like I'm running around Uldar. Like, okay, there's no level 13, 14 quests here. I can't do that.
Yeah,
Alright,
go to
I'm out.
Linsa.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm at that point. I'm having to do that.
Yeah, no,
But
it's
Pain in the arse.
the leveling stuff is a pain in the ass, but luckily they've got that doubling stuff for level 7 till level 70, which does make it bearable. I think the other thing here is that like the reason it's frustrating me with the leveling right now and getting through those things is because I'm playing a class I don't necessarily want to play.
Yeah.
I like the Scholar, don't get me wrong. It's actually really fun. There's actually some cool shit you can do. The fact that I can summon my little fairy partner and basically at the start of every encounter I summon the fairy and I hit my ability and basically that fairy will give everyone regen for a duration. Which means we can all just jump in and start diving. I really like the Scholar. It's got that barrier ability where I can like put a little dome on the field and everyone takes less damage if they're in the dome. It's really good. But I like the look of the Astrologian and what it can do.
It's probably a bit late, but like, I feel like the best way to start Final Fantasy, if you're looking at those particular classes, is to choose DPS.
You have to be a level 30 Scholar in order to take Astrologian.
Okay, so it is a subclass of.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Cool.
So, or sorry, you need a level 50 Scholar before it'll let you take, or something like that. A level 50 character and a Scholar, or something like that. Yeah. But basically, I needed to get the levels in Scholar.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, at that point, I might as well just fucking play as a Scholar. Also, one of the things that I found, because my queue times are long, but not that long, because everybody needs a healer. Ain't nobody playing fucking healers.
Also a good point. Yes.
So, like, when I jump into a duty, I the max I'll wait, unless it's like a dead period, like when I play at like midnight or 1 a.m, ain't nobody on, so that usually takes like 30 minutes to log in. Yeah. But most duties I wait maybe 5 minutes. Because as soon as I'm in, everyone's looking for a healer. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I got surprised the other day because when it tells you this duty type is looking for this class, I saw one the other day for DPS, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah. I didn't need that one, so I didn't queue for it. But I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." Yeah. And then I left it.
I think it can occasionally happen. I think because there was such a Final Fantasy XIV, from what I've read, had a problem where the player base did have an aversion to being healers for a long time. So there was a very wide amount of time there where there were no healers. And so what ended up happening was that there was a shift of people started picking up healing classes just so they could get to do something.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to look into, because the class spec for like changing into different classes, I want to be able to have a healer, a tank, and a DPS. At the moment, I've got a DPS and I have the startings of a tank. I haven't got a healer. I will either wait for Endwalker or I will.
You either wait for Endwalker or choose the summoner class.
Well, I was thinking of doing.
Fuck, that thing's OP.
I was thinking of doing White Mage. Actually. Yeah, just fuck it.
Yeah.
But because. Well, going into the barrier classes and everything as well, maybe it'd be worth looking into the other type and seeing what that is. Because if we've got you as an Astrologian...
I haven't fully detailed it all yet because it's still, like...
early days.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I think the idea is they want you to have one barrier and one regular in your party of 8.
Because if they've already fleshed out, cool, we want the Sage and the Astrologian to be barrier, and then we might have these other ones as the other one. If that's the case, then I'll just look at doing the other one. Fuck it, right? Because I don't give a shit about my healer. It's not my main. My main is my red mage.
I think they want to do it as well because they want to stop... Because currently, the best combination of healing that I can see at the moment is to actually have 2 Astrologians in your party, because they have an ability called Diurnal and Nocturnal, where essentially you pop one of those abilities and it augments another 3 of the items that you do. And it's convoluted, and I don't know why they did this. But if you pop Diurnal, then the 3 abilities in there turn into their nocturnal versions. And then basically what you do is you get 2 Astrologians, and you get 1 to pop Diurnal and 1 to pop Nocturnal. And that way you've got all of them covered. So that these 3 abilities, which you normally have to pick one or the other, you can have both popping and have all of it covered at once.
Is it an AoE buff? Or
it's an AoE. It's either an AoE defensive buff, as in you don't take much as damage, or it's an AoE offensive buff, which means you dish more damage. Okay. And you can have both popped at the same time if you've got 2 Astrologians.
So one Astrologian could buff offense, the other could buff defense. Okay.
Yeah, and you just keep stacking those, and plus they both pop their cards at the same time.
Yeah.
Which means you're getting if you get the right combination off, you're getting plus 12% to damage across the party.
Interesting.
because a single astrologian can pop 6% to DPS if they do it right.
So that's where communication would come down.
Yeah, and but you need to be talking to the other astrologian at that point. But I think the reason
I'm thinking more around like because my red mage is based around I need to fill the gauge of blue and white magic to then be able to dish out red magic through the sword. And that's where most of my damage will come from when I boost that. So if it's like, cool, all right, we need offensive. Guys, I'm ready to stab. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. You book it. Obviously, you've got the communication between I'll do Nocturnal, you do Diurnal. It's easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other side
The
of
other
it is
problem
who's
with it
ready to
though
do
is that
what.
like Astrologian seems to have a very I found the rotation for it. So it's got a very
Convoluted.
not convoluted, but it's got a very like you need to be able to do this sort of thing constantly, and so like changing it up for like, oh, now you're ready, it doesn't really work.
Okay.
If you're playing it right, you essentially have like a cooldown of around 20 seconds, and
Okay.
you can have that 6% sort of popping along at any time.
Okay.
And if you need, you can call out for it, and I can try and get you an extra card, which will give you 3% for the time being, while I'm waiting for that 6% boost to happen.
Well, the other thing is like, because the gauges don't waste. Like if I'm at 100%, I can still cast spells and keep that 100%. That's
Yeah,
not an
you can
issue.
just wait for it.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is that's where the other part of my communication comes in, of being like, hey guys, I've popped it now, unload.
Yeah.
Like you've got 6% extra, unload now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's we'll see how we go.
I was really worried about the red mage.
Story's pretty good. The story's alright.
The story is going crazy.
I haven't
and
gotten to Heavensward yet, so for me the story's like, ugh.
I think
Wait
the patch quests
until
are
the-
solid, and I think you are so focused on getting that job class. You're just like, oh,
Oh no, I like the story.
Yeah.
I like what they're doing. I like what they're coming up with.
Yeah.
But there is a bit of ham-fisted like,
It's-
oh man, like
Refugee
refugees. Oh.
yeah.
it picks up. It picks
Yeah.
up quite a lot.
I will give you this heads up as well. As soon as you finish,
Patch quests.
patch quest of Heavens of A Realm Reborn, like all of it, they change the voice actors.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Voice
The
actors do
Square Enix
change.
hired a new studio after that, so like you'll finish the patch quest as Alphanon, and then the next quest you talk to Alphanon again to start Heaven's Ward. You sound completely different. I'm like, what? the
I'm cool
fuck
with
is
that. I
that?
don't like the current voice acting. cast.
Most people don't. Like I actually read into it. And people are, except for like 2 characters.
It sounds so much better.
Yeah.
What's his name? God.
Oh, Uringar.
No. Shit.
The guy with the fucking mask? And
Yeah, the
hood?
guy that always has the mask and the hood.
Yeah.
Oh,
He,
Valthea.
Yeah, the guy, he's played by so he's the same voice actor as another character in Final Fantasy
okay.
12.
Gotcha.
The character's name is Balthier, and he's one of my favorite characters in Final Fantasy history. So I love his voice acting.
Okay.
I think he's really, really cool. Every other character can go suck a dick.
For me, like I knew what they were going for. It's like, oh, it's fantasy, but I think they start to get a bit. It's more that earnest, like, well, not earnest. It's less high fantasy, like airy fairy, and more like.
Alphino can go die in a fire. I don't like his voice acting. I don't like any of the voice acting. Minfilia. I don't like her voice acting either. She's too like, oh, precious.
Yeah.
This is all such woe. The world is so difficult and such heartache.
So, apparently...
Nah, rip a tinny on mic. Go on.
You know, I wanted one.
Oh, ASMR.
For me to have
There's one left, so unless there's like, I don't know, other alcohol available. I don't really like gin, so unless there's something else. Is there more Malibu left?
I'm driving, so you can take it.
If you want it, go for it.
I've got White Claws at home, which I'll get to.
Oh, the dream.
But I do like the story, and then it picks up, and like that, the final part in the patch quest, you're like, oh, this shit is happening, and then
This shit is happening.
and then
Apparently, Minfilia becomes a badass.
She's fucking better, because
I
right
caught-
now I hate her.
I fucking hate her too.
Because she is the most damsel in distress character.
I hate that she keeps comparing herself to me.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I'm a child of light too. Oh, I'm Heidelin's chosen as well. And it's like, well, fucking do something.
Yeah.
You dick.
Stop getting kidnapped like Mokuba.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking-
Sakura?
Well, she's worse. She doesn't even do anything. She's just like, oh yeah, I'm the leader. Why? Why are you the leader? You
Yeah.
do nothing. But yeah, apparently,
She's been kidnapped 3 times?
3 times.
Three
Yeah.
times.
apparently she gets better in the Heavens Ward patches, and I'm fucking keen to see.
Yes, I would like to see the characters take a little bit more.
Because Aaron said it to me. He's like, oh, dude, I've been going through the Heaven's Ward patches, and holy fuck, she gets so much better. I'm
Okay.
like, fucking good.
Yeah.
She's such a bitch.
And like, I'm excited, like the raid content that was like the Crystal Tower stuff, like that was fun. I'm excited to get the Heaven's Ward. I'm excited to get to the.
I haven't done any of the raid stuff.
You
not
will
done the
need
Crystal
to do the
Tower?
Crystal Tower to
Oh.
get through the patch quests.
You'll probably be right there.
What do you have to do?
You just need to like finish the. So it's one of those
That's
blue
the
quests.
question I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I did that, and I did a couple of him, and then I kind of lost track of where he was or what happened. So I just kind of went back to doing the story quests.
So eventually
and
they
so
will-
far I haven't been stopped.
So eventually you will be
Yeah.
stopped, and then they
There'll
go
be
through
one
the Crystal
time.
Tower, and then that will send you to Sid, basically. And then sort of be like,
Okay.
hey, go through this bunch of
You know what?
quests,
I'll
and
just
then-
keep going until it tells me, because right
Yeah.
now I couldn't be bothered to go looking.
It'll
for
be
it.
one time when you go to talk to Minfilia. It'll be a level. Well, it's still level 50.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, and then
Look, I got a couple of days coming off. I'm probably going to burn through some of that.
I really like that content, and that's why I'm
Probably
excited to
play
get
some
to
more
the like Return to Evil East raid content and the Nier Automata raid content. I'm just like, it's gonna be fun.
The raids were really fun. I really liked it. You, if you haven't done any raids yet, you will need to.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that's
their
the
story.
stuff that you're missing.
It's really fun.
But it's good shit.
It's
But
like,
it's even like it's
How many
planned
people
out.
are in the raid?
24.
Oh, it's the big
you have a
Yeah.
party of 8,
Yeah. So
and
there's
then it's like, 3 groups of 8.
Group A, B, and C. And that's the
Make sure that
thing.
graphics
So
starts
there's like there's parts where you'll need to split the party. So it's like all 24 of you will fight this one huge dude. But then like at one point it'll be like there will be 3 parts. And then if someone takes charge, they'll throw up those letters. You might have seen it where it spells out Sid for like Pantheon or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah, so similar thing. People will put A, B, and C. So if you're part of A, you go down this path. Part of B, you go down this path. Part of C, you go down third.
Oh, okay.
Because otherwise you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like if all the healers go down one end, they're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very like a part of it's like, okay, cool. We're planning this. You need to kill this monster with your party. You'll kill this party will kill this monster with this party, and then this party will kill a monster with this party. Once you all kill your monsters, you'll then reconverge onto the main monster again. So
And then
there's
you
a
just
lot
start going again.
pretty much. So like.
So it's just a single boss battle with like stages.
No, it's a lot of boss battles.
It's
a
and
lot.
it culminates all
It's
into
a lot.
like a really good boss battle.
And that's the thing. The raid is broken up into 3 different parts as well. I had a look because I was looking at the level 70 gear because I'm getting up to level 70, and the item level is 400. Yeah, item level 4, currently at 260. So
Yeah.
I'm at 110 still.
Yeah.
so item level is 400 for the augmented scaling gear is what Aaron has. But there's another type, same item level 400, but it's called Omega. And it looks so much fucking cooler. From what I understand, it comes from the raid of Stormblood.
Right.
So it's endgame Stormblood.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't be able to get it straight away. And the scaling gear comes out later as well.
Well, man, we're gonna get so much gear by the time we're done with this. We're
Yeah.
gonna look rad going into Endwalker.
Yeah.
It looks so fly.
There's a lot of shit. So, yeah, it's
14's really fun, and I'm so glad.
gonna be
So
good.
last week I got a new laptop, and I'm gonna be like, I downloaded the free trial and be like, cool, I'm gonna just see how this runs on my computer. And then Square Enix was like, no, this isn't normal, mate. You're being hacked. I'm like, I promise I'm not. And they were supposed to send me an email to shift it to like unlock that barrier, and that email never came through. And I checked my other one. I'm like, this didn't come through. So I'm like, okay, I'll just change my password. And then my password, apparently my birth date was wrong. I'm like, I know my birth date. I go through it every year. And so my
I
driver's
go
like,
through it every year. Like it's an ordeal.
yep. And then, I went through this whole thing like it just wasn't working. I was like, okay, I'll send Square Enix my license. I changed my associated email. I've gone through the this rigmarole. And they finally sent me an email last night saying like, it should work, just make sure you do it properly and in this order. So I'm like, okay, I will. And I did it all, made one mistake, and then I tried again, and then it just worked. And then I tried logging in on the PC version. It's like, you do not have access to this trial because you are over-leveled pretty much.
Okay.
I'm like, alright, that's fine.
Yeah.
You go down to my PlayStation, boom, 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 log in, and I could get in. And I'm like, fucking, it took a week.
Yeah.
And this was a week I needed to be playing Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
Like, I tried playing Valhalla, I'm like, this isn't doing what I want it to do. And then I tried playing another game. I don't remember what that game was. Oh, I played the Wonderful 101 demo. I mean, this is fun, but it's not what I'm in the mood for. And then I finally got to play it. I'm like, yes! I can get through Heaven's
Wonderful
Sword.
101?
Wonderful 101, it's on PS4. The Wii U game.
Do you mean Wizard
On
Runner?
Wii U.
I was sitting there going, don't you mean Balan Wonderworld?
No, I do not mean Balan Wonderworld.
Okay,
I will never mean Balan Wonderworld.
Something about that game, man.
Not a good game.
No.
But yeah, I'm like super keen to get into. I've got tomorrow off because it's a public holiday, and then I've got Wednesday off and get my COVID shot. I'm pretty chuffed about that. I'm probably gonna get.
Monitor your headaches.
I will take all the drugs.
Try not to catch autism.
I at least want the 5G.
How to access 5G. 5G enabled device and COVID vaccine.
Oh, God.
But yeah, no. So I'm gonna have a couple of days off. So I'll just hopefully just power through that. Push it onto my back. But yeah, no. 14, very good game.
Very, very good game.
Just
Enjoying it.
As soon as you get into a game, like, I fucking hate these all fucking. You sound really negative. Like, no. On the whole, it's all.
Oh,
like,
yeah, God, if it wasn't a good game, I wouldn't still be fucking playing it.
yeah.
I wouldn't be sitting here going, actually, you know what, I need to get home so I can start leveling again. Like, I wouldn't be, you know.
Yeah. And
good
like
fun.
this was like this 11 and 8 are the only ones that I haven't finished. And 11 I will never get to because it's archaic MMO. 8, I think Shannon and I decided we're
We're
play.
gonna do a let's play on that because I'm
Like,
gonna teach him how to do it so that he can break it and not have to worry about it.
Or like learn how
Is that the... I remember fucking, like, ages ago, there was this random, like, RNG where you could get, like, the best weapon right at the start or some shit. Is that...
It's
is that
not
the
an
game you were
RNG. It's
talking
not an
about?
RNG.
It's not?
That's 12. 12 has an RNG
Oh,
glitch where you
yes.
can get the best weapon, and the weapon is a joke weapon.
Okay.
So in 12 they have a weapon which is a bow. It's called the Satangrat or the Satangrat.
Okay.
You can only get it by manipulating the RNG on the save file. Or you don't... It's a 1 in a million chance to get it. Literally a 1 in a million on the RNG. But you can manipulate the RNG so that you can get it every time. By loading the saves and doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When you get it, I think the most powerful weapon in the game as it stands, like just getting weapons, is like 160 base power. That's like the kind of the level there. The Satangrat is 224.
Holy shit.
And it's invisible. So it doesn't look like your characters are doing anything. They're just doing this the whole time. So you can't see anything, but you are dealing monster damage to everything. So it's a joke weapon that you're not meant to get.
Yeah.
The idea was that like you would accidentally bump into it if you did this, if you went on this specific airship at this specific time between these two specific points, you may get a 1 in a million chance to bump into this thing on the air dock.
Interesting.
And if you did, then when you open it, in Final Fantasy XII, every time you open a chest, there is a kind of like a dungeon table that rolls in the background, and each individual it's crazy. Each individual chest in the game is numbered 1 to however many chests are in the game, and so when you open it, it grabs that number and then grabs its table, and so there's a table of like, oh, there's a 75% chance it's 400 gil, 10% chance it's some crazy item. 5% chance it's a knot of rust, like all these different things, and each one has its own percentage chance.
Yeah.
And this particular chest has like a table that's like 99% of the time you get like 4 gil from it. 1% of the time you get that bow.
Interesting.
But you can manipulate its RNG so that you can get it 100% of the time.
Do you have to like go into the details of the game, or do you have to like...
No, you can do it by just doing the save file. Essentially...
Oh, save hack.
So, yeah, you basically... You save the game.
That's cool. Save... What's the thing when you take advantage of something?
Save count?
No.
Kind of. So what you do is you basically... You play the game up until a certain save point. It's in the opening area when you're playing as Rex, the not main character. You save it there and create a new, on its own save point. Then what you do is you go through a bunch of bullshit to get yourself to the exact spot where that chest is going to spawn.
Right.
Location-wise.
Yeah.
Then you save there and load up the new save, the save that you saved back at the start of the game. You go through, and the way the RNG works in Final Fantasy XII is every move you make manipulates, moves the RNG forward one.
Okay.
But it's not actually a random number generator, technically. It is a sequence of numbers that were randomly generated when the game was created. And it always goes through the same sequence. So when some people have gone into the source code and figured it out, but basically you go to this thing, this crystal, and you basically cast the cure magic on yourself 3 times. And the RNG will determine how much HP that cure heals.
Right.
When the 3 numbers line up to be, there's something like 88, 93, 84, or something like that. When you get those 3 numbers in a row, you quickly stop, you go into the menu, and you load the original, the other save that's back where the thing is. And then you will pick up that chest, because the RNG has been manipulated just enough so that it's right where it is, where that chest will open up one of those.
Right.
It's fucked. There's 20-minute videos on how to fucking do it. I did it. It breaks the game entirely. I had 6 of the fuckers. My entire party was decked out with invisible bows. I killed everything in a shot. It was great. But with Final Fantasy VIII, there is a way to... The game level scales based on your party. So there is a way to make your characters super overpowered and keep the entirety of the enemies you encounter at level 8. Or around about level 10. So you can just go through and one-shot everything, including the final boss. So I'm going to teach him how to do that, and we're going to go through that.
Or at least play the game a bit better than I am.
Yeah, I'll just kind of teach you how to use the junctioning system, because it's kind of busted. Where'd Nathaniel go?
I'm here.
The fuck are you doing?
I'm coming back.
Are you?
Yeah.
He's taken off.
Nightmare scenario. What are you doing?
Jesus Christ, I don't like that.
Have we done our Final Fantasy 14 minute?
I think so.
It was only a minute.
Yeah, only a minute. That as long as the fucking game itself.
I actually went off and started doing some laundry.
Piece of shit.
What else do we want to briefly talk about?
I don't think there's much else, really.
I haven't seen anything. I still haven't watched WandaVision.
I don't
really?
think we should... I would recommend it. But I don't think we should talk about that. Because
You don't
it'll
have to
spoil
watch
the
one without the other. So if you want to start Falcon, you can do that.
I saw Godzilla vs. Kong. Ask me anything.
Is it good?
It's fucking great.
It's Godzilla in it.
No, that's a spoiler.
Hey,
I was gonna ask, do you want spoilers? Because there's a lot. There's not a lot, but there's a bit. They actually, what pissed me off was I saw a trailer 2 days ago, and I was like, it spoils one of the big emotional moments in the movie. It legitimately. I was sitting in the cinema, and there's a thing that happens with Kong,
Mothra.
and the whole Mothra's in the first.
No, I'm talking Mothra like Martha. That emotional moment.
No, but there is an emotional moment that in pretty much any other movie would be like, that's stupid. But they actually do a really good job of humanizing Kong and creating a sort of a connection between the audience and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the whole cinema went, aw, not like, oh my god, but we all just went, aw, that's, aw. Now I feel bad for Kong. Aw.
Had you watched the pre?
I had watched the previous Godzilla movies, but not Kong. I had not watched the King Kong.
It's
Hong
just Skull
Kong.
Island, isn't
Skull
it?
Island, yeah.
Yeah.
But to be honest, they do enough in that movie to contextualize it that I didn't need to.
Yeah.
I knew what was going on. That movie's fucking great. Honestly, after the year that this world has had, watching Godzilla vs. Kong just duke it out for an hour and a bit,
Honestly,
that was fun.
I was always interested, but I'm like, yeah, I should watch it because there's this new cinematic universe that's happening. It's not going to be good, but I'll watch it. And then every movie that comes out, something else happened. Godzilla came out and it passed. I'm like, I didn't get around to that. Kong came out, something else popped up. I couldn't get around to that.
Yeah.
Godzilla 2, I'm like, this looks fun as fuck. No.
Godzilla King of Monsters is great. Those Godzilla movies are actually really fucking good. They are just big, dumb monster movies, and the city is destroyed by the end of it, and you're like, nah, it doesn't seem like it would be probable. Alright, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a couple of movie websites that have done like a breakdown of like if these creatures actually existed, gravity would crush them before they could stand. Like physically, these things can't exist.
Yeah.
Because they're immense size. Like in Earth's gravity, they wouldn't be able to stand or move. They would have to constantly be in the ocean swimming.
Or they'd have to be built differently.
Yeah, like they would have to literally
Built different.
I'm built different.
Oh man, that movie is just, it is exactly the right amount of stupid.
I think when
Just
we
like, this is dumb, I love it.
I think when I watched Wonder Woman 1984 in cinemas, I hadn't like been in ages. I'm like, okay, cool, this will be fun. And then the Kong vs Godzilla trailer played. I'm like, I got giddy. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Yeah, I'm like, what?
I had the same. This is the best way I could explain it. I had the same feeling in that cinema that I had when I was like 11 and I was watching pro wrestling. Like that same sort of, oh my god, he punched him. Hit him again. Yeah. Like a lot of like moments where I literally went like, oh no, Godzilla, he's behind you. Like kind of like shit like that where I was like, this is
Watch out!
yeah, exactly. Oh no, not the chair. Like that kind of. And like the funny thing is they animate them in such a way as well that like Kong does like kickflips, but like kicks, he kicks off of like buildings. Like the building collapses under his weight, but he like kicks off of buildings, does like a Superman punch. Like it's so dumb but awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I
so
saw a GIF of it. Must like Kong's shoulder must have been dislocated.
Yes.
And he just runs up to the building and pops it back in.
the
And I'm like, oh, alright, gnarly, let's go.
One of the best moments of the movie is Kong's like almost out. You can tell like his shoulder's out of place, and he just like rams it into a building, pops it back in, and is like, and then
like,
just goes to town again. And you're like, oh my god,
Holy fuck!
it's so
and it's
good.
like I know, like Mum used to tell me about like the footballers doing that. Like they used to play like enough footy and like
It's
they
like
dislocate
pop
their
it back
shoulder like
in.
every like
Yeah.
game, and they just walk up to a brick wall and just pop it back in or a tree. I'm like, I don't like that. And like Mum told me that when I was like 12, and that's just stuck with me forever.
Yeah.
So watching that, I'm just like, oh shit, it's real.
It's
like
just-
the big ape was doing the thing.
They do so much good work actually of like basically spending most of the first part of the movie building up these two monsters of like by the time they actually collide you're like, oh, like honestly I couldn't explain it better than professional wrestling of like when the first battle happens there is a certain amount of stuff happening that makes you go, yeah, but if it wasn't for this, Kong would have won. Like, you literally get to the end of it, you go, yeah, but if it wasn't for this, like, this would have happened, right? And then they spend the rest of the movie building up, yeah, but there's going to be a rematch. You're going to get it again. And you're like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, no. Fair fight this time. Let's go. And like, it's so dumb. But I love it. I needed it. I needed this kind of dumb movie in my life right now.
Do you reckon there'll be more?
Absolutely. Like this movie, I think, has broken COVID record. Like since COVID lockdown, it's like the biggest grossing movie.
Oh really?
And I think it's like doing gangbusters on HBO Max.
Yeah,
like,
it's doing heaps. And I think because it is just genuinely like they've figured out how to make Godzilla not dumb. And I think they did it because the Americans figured out that Godzilla isn't the villain, it's the hero. That's how those movies are supposed to be done.
Yeah.
You make Godzilla the hero and people love it. And they found a way, unbelievably in this movie, to humanize Kong. And they've given themselves an out. They could absolutely end it there and it'd be fine, but they could absolutely keep writing sequels for this thing.
Interesting.
Like, they could make so many sequels for this thing, and I would be there for all of them. Fuck the MCU. I want the monster universe, because this thing is great.
When I watched Jurassic World for the first time and it's two dinosaurs fighting each other, I'm like, fuck the MCU.
Yeah.
I had the exact same emotion. I watched,
Yeah.
And then I never watched the second movie because I couldn't give a shit.
Oh, yeah, and the Fallen Kingdom's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fallen Kingdom is bad, but yes,
That's
like...
it. Kong vs Jack Black. That's what.
But like, becoming an adult, I'm like, oh, like kaiju films.
Yeah!
Like, Pacific Rim movies are great. The Pacific Rim anime is solid. Like, that's
Yeah.
another thing I watched.
The only
It's set
thing-
It's set in Australia, but like, the protagonists do not have Australian accents. A bunch of other people do, but they're either villains or they die
Yeah.
really quickly.
It's such a good movie. It's such a good movie. I recommend anyone seeing it if you get the chance. Like, it's just so much fun.
I want to.
Other than that, I went fishing. Fishing was good.
I also went fishing, but I did not see Godzilla vs.
I didn't catch shit, but I went fishing.
Kong. I also didn't catch shit, but I went fishing.
Did you catch a gum boot?
No,
Did you catch a tire?
no.
Did you catch a gum
Told you I didn't
tree?
catch shit. I didn't catch anything.
Well, lots
I
of
found
them
myself
trees.
finding out that I am exactly Jack O'Neill from Stargate. I don't care if I catch fish, but the act of fishing is all I need.
Skip or two and a kangaroo.
And reel it, and just that motion is so relaxing. Just like cast and reel.
I haven't been fishing in a very long time, and I'm not gonna lie, the entire time I was like casting that line, I'm like, gone from Hunter x Hunter.
I feel like every time I've even tried to go fishing or chuck anything in the water, I'm like, I'm doing this wrong. Like,
I mean, there is a technique to it, but like at the end of the day, who fucking cares?
No one cares.
I can't even get it good.
One day I'm going to do a deep dive on Jack O'Neill, the character from Stargate, and explain to him explain to everyone why he's the best science fiction character in history.
Okay.
He's so fucking good. He's the best science fiction character ever.
Anything else we want to talk about?
Nah. Fishing was good.
There's only one thing else that I did, and it's only a small thing. I watched a TV series called Close Enough. You never heard of Close Enough? No. It's just,
You told me about this on the fishing trip.
It's the regular show. The guys who made the regular show.
Yeah.
Except it follows a couple that have a child, and they're a young couple. And it's the same sort of thing, the same sort of like story outlines, like this thing happens that causes a problem. They go to solve the problem. The thing that solves the problem has dire consequences, and like now they're fighting ghosts and monsters and shit like that. Mm-hmm. Same sort of thing, except it's definitely not for kids. Now, like it's the regular show, but there's a lot of swearing. There's a lot of like sexual references, like that sort of stuff. It's fucking hilarious.
Interesting. So it seems like it's made for the people who watch regular show. Now that they're grown up, here's another show for you.
Yeah, it was the best.
Interesting.
Adult Swim.
That's only-
Modern Adult Swim is basically
Only
that.
one season is out. It's on Netflix. It's pretty good. And I'm probably about to watch. I think the third season of Final Space came out.
Yes, it did, I believe.
I'm going to watch that.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to watch Dragon Quest Die for a long time. Because it seems like a fun anime with Toriyama characters, and I've been wanting that for 3 years now.
Fucking hell. I love that thing that you share. It's like, and Dragon Ball Super will return. It's like, well, that was a fucking lie.
Like, technically about the movie, but like...
Well, I mean, the Broly movie was good.
The Broly movie was good, but how long ago was that? 2 or 3 years ago?
That would have been
3 now?
No, 2. So it would have been 3 years ago when the anime finished, and then we got the movie in January the following year.
January of 2019.
Yeah. It's 2021, so 2 years.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was 2018 when the movie came out.
What? No, 2019.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
I was gonna say, like, honestly, recently a lot of people have been saying like, "Oh, this was like 2 years ago." I'm like, actually, no, it was 3 because remember, 2020 happened.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to inform you, it wasn't a dream.
Yeah.
It did actually happen, and a lot of my friends, like at work as well, they've all been deleting 2020 from their calculations. And I'm like, no, sorry, honey. The whole year happened there.
Does anyone remember when we were like, 2019 fucking sucked. I can't wait for 2020. It's gonna be great.
I honestly don't think I'm ever gonna say a year sucked again.
Yeah.
Like, for as long as I live, I think it's gonna be one of those things of like, oh well, you know, this person died and this many actors went away, and oh shit, that Me Too'd that section of society, that really sucked, but nothing beats 2020. I don't care.
I just remember, like, the years have gotten worse ever since 2016. Because in 2016, there's a bunch of, like, celebrities die, and then every year has slowly gotten worse, and now we're in 2021.
I feel like there's an upswing. I feel like this year hadn't been so bad.
This year has been okay,
It's
but I
been
feel
fine
like...
because we've fucking stayed inside.
Yeah.
Although, like, this year hasn't been so bad for us, but in most other places in Australia, there's been, like, floods.
Yes, there's been like floods and all that, but like honestly, like size of devastation compared to the bushfires,
And still not as bad as the floods 10 years ago.
exactly. Like
I'm expecting next year.
I'm just waiting for, like, the rise up of the people that have had to deal with losing their homes in the bushfire, then getting fucking COVID because they've got no homes, dealing with all of this shit out on the streets and then getting caught up in floods without homes still. There's going to be a revolution.
We said we wouldn't get political. Time to wrap up.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Amalgam Show, please leave a like and subscribe. I've got to say at the top, this was our 100th episode of the show.
Shit, fucking was it?
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, fucking just pissed that away, didn't we? 100 episodes. Ah, fuck it.
Was this really our 100th episode?
Yeah, it's the 100th
Of the
Amalgam
show,
show, yeah.
Well,
Fuck!
Fucking just pissed that away. Like an anniversary,
We could have done.
milestone
I can't
episode.
believe you didn't tell us that.
Yeah, if you told, I would have done something special.
how did we
God.
not know that?
Like, we could have got a cake.
We could have recorded that
okay.
game of Dogs D&D or whatever.
I could have got drunk,
Yeah.
You
Just like
always
the
just like the old days.
just like episode 1 through 99.
Do you
Yeah.
remember like the first 10 episodes when Jonah would just yell at us from the lounge room?
Yeah, that was a thing.
I don't remember those ones.
Yeah, you
I went there.
Nah, that's alright. We could have gotten him in. Special guest.
Yeah. I was a new character added in season 2.
We need more diversity in the show.
We'll get a female next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just need a female nerd. Do we know any?
Yeah, I got that one.
You got a few?
Yeah, I know a whole bunch. Yeah, I got them.
All right.
I know them all, mate.
Fuck. We'll do something special. We'll do something special for 101.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
We'll play Wizard 101. We'll watch Zoe 101.
We'll watch 101 Dalmatians.
We'll watch, we'll read the entirety of 101 jokes in a joke book.
101 dad jokes.
Excellent.
If you enjoyed us, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any questions for the show, please comment below or email us at amalgam@gmail.com.
Amalgam's how? Remember that?
I do remember that.
Also check us out on social media at The Amalgam Show. You've all been great on the Assassin's Creed videos that I've been posting.
Oh fuck! I didn't get a chance to bitch about that either.
Bitch!
Yeah. I have a thing to say.
Say it.
Never listen to your audience. Fuck them. Do the Unity video. Do the Unity video. 47 views.
It's the hundreds now.
Yeah. No one's got 1 million on the fucking Syndicate one.
That's
Do the
insane.
Unity video. Do the Unity video.
Hey,
Yeah, I know how I fucked up. Like, the Syndicate one's less than a minute. It was around the actual launch of the console.
Yeah.
Unity's months later, and it's like.
But people were bitching about it months later still. Like, do
Yeah.
the Unity video. We did it. It hasn't done anywhere. This is why you don't listen to people.
Yeah.
That's why people suck.
I mean, to be fair, we did the Unity video.
I did the Unity video.
Okay, the Unity video was posted, and it got 954 views. We did the previous podcast, and we got 29 views.
yeah.
You know,
That's fine.
But what I'm
like-
saying is, like, listening to the audience has increased exponentially. Like, yeah, it's like 0.01%
Yeah,
of
At
the
least
previous
audience are
video.
being actually, like, at least they're talking to us now. Last time the audience talked to us, they yelled
They
at
just
Spanish.
swore at us in Spanish. I know.
So
But,
we're,
like, no,
we're
there's,
getting somewhere,
We're getting
Shannon.
somewhere. We're getting somewhere. But
It's
still, there's a
progress.
part of me that's just like, the amount of times I see, like, I've seen a lot of YouTube creators do this, where they're like, oh, I'm just gonna, the audience is telling me to do this one thing. I'm like, sometimes you just need to go with your creator and let the creator do what they want to do.
I still think you guys should do the.
But that's the
You need
thing
to do
for us, it's
the-
like doing a podcast every month.
Yeah, fuck it.
You
We
need
used to
to.
do it every week.
You need to do the
I'd still do it
fucking
every week,
Let's
but
Play
it's
of Syndicate on PS5. I reckon that'd be hilarious.
We should still do that.
I reckon that'd be funny.
We should do that before we do our FF8 one.
Yeah. I reckon it'd be funny. Maybe even just do like the first couple episodes or episodes,
Like
missions even.
Mhm.
an extended
See how it goes. Just I reckon it'd be funny to see the glitchy bullshit that happens. It'd be
Yeah.
cool. But anyway,
Especially in
We'll see how we
cutscenes.
go.
Let's see how cutscenes go.
yeah.
Before they patch it. Because
They're not going.
They're not going to patch it. They
They're
would
just
never
like,
patch
no,
it.
Ubisoft will change their mind after seeing it.
Yeah, I was talking to Anthony the other day.
Anthony doesn't work for you.
I wasn't talking to Anthony. I was talking to
Anyway,
someone
I'm
else.
being facetious. I know that you're supposed to listen to it, but like it was just so funny to watch the
Oh yeah,
the Unity thing go up and
the
they'd be
number
like,
difference.
where's the Unity one? I'm like, here you go. Okay, thanks. Bye.
It's there. Thank you. Shut up.
And like it totally makes sense too, because like last time we talked about it, we're like, yeah, we're not gonna do it because there's nothing to do. Like
Yeah.
it runs fine.
It's at 990k right now. The big one.
900. Oh, okay.
It's a lot.
I mean, it got us a chunk of subscribers, and they're
We're up
cool.
past 600 now, so this should have actually been a milestone episode, but holy shit, I did not have time to pay for it.
God damn it.
It's been a fucking week.
101. That's a new century.
It's okay. We'll look at it next time.
We'll look at it next time.
And until then, catch you later.
Bye.
Catch you later.